Richard, thanks for joining us. Look, first of all, could supermarkets be doing more at the moment, do you think?
I can only speak for ourselves, but, I think we're working day and night doing as much as we possibly can to keep prices as low as we can for our customers. We've got 5 million customers a week. Some of them are really struggling to make ends meet. And whatever cost savings that we're now getting from our supply base, negotiating, finding in the market, we're passing on to our consumers, not least of all today with our announcement on baby formula. Really important element that we found a lot of our customers are struggling with the cost of baby formula. It's risen by up to 50% over the last 2 years. This is an absolute staple for many mums who maybe can't breastfeed or choose not to or whatever, but it's becoming absolutely unaffordable. So we're slashing the prices, cheapest in the market, and as a result, we don't make any money out of it. We're doing something quite bold, quite controversial, and we're now cutting every single baby formula price in our shop so that it's the cheapest there is. And we think it's the right thing to do. We surveyed 500 families with kids under the age of 1, and they said that 90% are worried about being able to afford to feed their babies. So I think it's right that, we do as much as we can to try and support that.
And you're in touch with food banks, aren't you? People remember you said at the start of the cost of living crisis, you heard about people, they weren't able to boil vegetables.
That's right.
Because it was, costing so much electricity. I mean, what other sorts of things do you hear from your customers?
Yeah, I suppose we are a bit of a barometer of Britain in that respect. We see and feel and hear the issues every day. There's people turning up at our tills and maybe, telling the cashier to tell them when to stop when it gets to 20 quid and, they leave the rest. And food banks are a rising phenomenon. Absolute disgrace, really, when you consider we're a G7 country. But this is the reality of the cost of living squeeze that we're in. So, I think we have an absolute obligation to step up and do what we can for them.
And those branded products we're hearing at the start of the programme, I mean, what pressures do you come under? Because you obviously sell those products as well. Do they suggest the prices? Can you push back in any way against some of these?
Yeah, we always push back. And legally, they can't suggest the prices. Interestingly, legally with baby formula, you can't say what I'm saying now, which is that we're dropping the prices. It's very regulated, but I think it's the right thing to do to say that we are. And, I disagree with the law there, and I think it needs to be reviewed in the cost of living crisis. With regards to the brands, we negotiate, we have a healthy relationship, we push back, but we try and work with them to deliver the best value we can.
On our 5 phone, Claire from Worcestershire says, went to the corner shop for salad cream last week. It was nearly £5. People are saying this a lot about sort of sauces and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Julian from Mansfield in Nottinghamshire, even people who don't go to food banks are really struggling with the ever-increasing prices. B from Norwich, we don't have a community pantry or fridge and no support, so we only have one meal a day. Said it already, but what more can supermarkets do? Because in the end, people will stop shopping, won't they, if they're in a situation like B just then?
Yeah, and, we hear stories like that every day, and it's very real. We're investing £500,000 a week now, £26 million a year in dropping prices. We've dropped over 600 over the last couple of weeks alone, but that's not enough. We need to do more. So we need to, work with our suppliers, pass on any costs as soon as we get them, and make sure that we're passing on those savings. Obviously, as you said in your intro, food prices in terms of inflation has peaked, but it's still going up. So we're not out the woods yet, and unfortunately, this is going to live with us for some time to come. And that's why we need to work as hard as we can, like we're doing on baby formula, to try and offer best value in the market.
And it's also wages is a problem, isn't it? I don't know what whether your staff have had pay rises or whatever, but people are struggling. Is it something your staff have had? Have they had sort of increases?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have had increases, but to be totally honest with you, it's the statutory amount of increase. I mean, quite significant given the way that national minimum wage is going up. And I'd love to pay more. We were always the best payer on the high street. I was very proud of that. And now we're just, in the pack with everyone else. But we can do more for them. We give them discounts at Christmas. We give them 20% off, 15% off year round. There's different incentives and bonus schemes. And we don't do 0 hours contracts. I think that's a really important thing to try and avoid. So we're doing as much as we can at the moment. But at the moment, we can pay more, we will.
And just briefly, looking ahead to the autumn and Christmas, we're still in this cost of living crisis. Where do you think it's going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite excited about the innovation, the products that we have, and also the value that we can offer. So, you know, we've got a lot coming in the autumn, but of course, for our consumers, it's going to be tough. You know, when heating is turned on, when the weather cools down, that's when people feel it the most. So we're all seeing energy prices start to drop off, but hopefully that will continue, and businesses like mine will continue to pass it on to our consumers.
Let's see what happens. Richard Walker, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
No worries.